Godzilla babies, thank you. Welcome back to Pack Your Factor. Thanks for joining us on Sifted.net. And if you're a Patreon patron, thank you. That's helping us pay the bills. If you are an Amazon Prime member, we'd appreciate it if you could remember to link your Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. We get paid by Amazon. That's cool. And you're getting the show real time. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe there and get the show real time. Otherwise, you're watching a week late, and the cost of doing that is follow me on Twitter at Michael Pack. Today's question from Sifted, from Kevin. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much have I ended up missing E3? Do you think the streams we've received throughout the summer have been adequate replacement? I'm really glad that Jeff Keighley has put together his Summer Games Fest and is getting interesting interviews with interesting people. I think that matters a lot. I'm glad that Sony and Microsoft have done their events. I'm glad that we're still getting Nintendo Directs. I'm glad that Ubisoft did their little reveals and EA did their reveal, and I'm hopeful we get more from Activision and Take-Two and whoever else is out there. But it's not the same as E3. I mean, E3, there's something about just the whole bringing everybody together, and E3 is both the most exhausting week of the year for me and the most fun week of the year for me. So personally, I really miss it. I mean, that's like my opportunity to just catch up with everybody and everybody else's opportunity. So I miss that more than anything, and I was crestfallen when E3 was canceled. Now, of course, it's the right thing to do, and we don't want people to die. And I certainly would hate it if some of the people I like died, and I would have really hated if anybody got sick. So of course we couldn't do it. I'm hopeful we get our together as a country by next June, and we get to have E3 next year. I'd say we're about 50-50, getting our act together and coming back. I am planning on working from home at least through April. Like, I don't think I'm going anywhere. So there's going to be more of me. That's the good news. I'm expanding. But man, I've got like no miles on United this year. I've got no hotel nights at Intercontinental. I've got no loyalty points at Caesars. I am losing all my affinity clubs. I guess the good news is I can start fresh. Maybe I'll become a Delta flyer or something. But man, I miss E3. So no, we haven't gotten enough through the summer. There's a lot of benefit to all that stuff happening at the same time. It's almost, and on the one hand, it's overwhelming. On the other hand, it's really exhilarating to get all those really cool announcements all at once. So no, I don't think the replacement E3 has been even close. I miss E3. I hope that Sony comes back to the ESA and says they'll participate next year. So secretly, I hope don't tell anybody. I hope the PlayStation 5 is a flop and Sony realizes that they can't do anything right unless they're at E3. I want Sony at E3. I love everybody at Sony, and they made a mistake pulling out of E3, and they need to come back. And then I want the PlayStation 5 to dominate once they come back. The point of having a trade show is that it's a focal point for conventional media to focus on, for them to attend. And so, you get like the economists from London and Newsweek and Forbes and Fortune, cover, and CNBC, because it's business of games, will cover E3. And, you normally get like the CEOs of the companies showing up, and we just don't have that. So the idea that, I remember my mom is no longer with us, but when my mom was alive, my mom would call me up once a year to ask me about my job because she was watching, ABC News, and the nightly news talked about E3. And it reminded my mom I worked in the industry. So she would call me up during E3 and ask me how I was doing. I saw that trade show. Are you there? And if my mom, who died at 90, my mom was aware of video games one day a year, that's because mainstream media covered it and it made it interesting to people. And you can't buy that publicity. That's why Grandma buys little Johnny games every Christmas, because Grandma knows what Call of Duty is, and she knows about it because of E3. So realistically, you lose that dimension when you don't have the spectacle. And I think you just have to have it. I think it's like CES for consumer electronics. It's like you have to have the spectacle because everybody wants to report on the next cool thing. And that's where, Oculus got featured and people talked about VR, and HoloLens got revealed. People talked about AR, and it's really important, not just for games, but for consoles, for services. It's like I learned about Twitch at E3. I mean, I had a meeting with the Twitch guys, Emmett Shear, when it was just like an idea, and they were like, we're gonna take Justin TV and try to make a gamer channel. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Who wants to do that? I'm so brilliant about seeing the future. Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to have that type of exposure to get, to really have an effective promotion of your product. And I don't think that these Sony Directs capture the media attention that Sony making a splash with a giant press conference at E3 does. So I'm hopeful that Sony comes back. I think Microsoft will definitely be back. We just need to get a vaccine, and we all need to be healthy so we can go there and drink up at my party. So we'll make sure we have a slot or two for Sifted Patreon patrons so that you guys can meet all my friends too. Thanks for joining us on Pack Factor on Sifted.net. Thank you for your patronage on Patreon. Thank you for linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube, and thank you for following me on Twitter at Michael Packer. See you next time.